the best of the week on Relevant Radio.
Let's go out to California to Tracey. Hello, Tracey. Thanks for calling in.
I was listening to the podcast with you and Monica yesterday.
Yeah.
The comment that Monica made regarding people who have borderline personality disorders, that they have trouble with close, healthy relationships, and that they generally have control issues, and that's how they feel safe. And that resonated with me because our daughter has that diagnosis. She's 28 with 2 kids, 2 and 3 years old, and 1 on the way.
Oh my, yeah.
And we've just moved back to California in the last year to be close to them. Although they live with the in-laws and get a lot of support there. You know, we wanted to be part of the relationship and the larger family. And
good for you.
Yet we have a very difficult time being able to get together with her or being able to get too close. She, there's a lot of unanswered texts. There's a lot of control issues. She doesn't want us to babysit. She doesn't want us to drive them anywhere. She allows the in-laws to do that, but she just explains it that, she just has a lot of anxiety about the kids being in the car, and it seems like she's only texting us or communicating with us when she's got an update for, say a doctor's appointment. As I said, she's pregnant, and then previously, it was still about doctor appointments or, the latest drama when she was ready to quit a job or something like that. But, if I text her, the texts go unanswered, and my husband texts her the same thing. And yet, we do get together for different things, but recently, like since her birthday, since Easter, since Mother's Day, there's been a lot of, again, no communication. We're doing something else. And the only time we get together, it seems like the mother-in-law has invited us over, and we're getting the invite through our daughter. So we're detecting a lot of strain, and we're wondering, I know that there's a lot of mental things here. Obviously, I'm her mother of 28 years, but she had mentioned before she found out she was pregnant that she was going back to the psychiatrist. She was going to go back on medication.
Good.
She was feeling very depressed. She had been diagnosed as being very depressed and very anxious. And then about 6 weeks later, she found out she was pregnant.
Yeah.
But in dealing with that as a reality, what's the best way to communicate with her so she doesn't feel pressured, but so that we can also still feel like we can be part of things and keep up with what's going on with them?
So she has an official diagnosis from a psychiatrist.
Yes.
Of
yes.
Borderline personality disorder. All right.
Yes.
All right. And has she been in therapy with a psychiatrist, or more so, I'd like a psychologist or a therapist? Has she been in therapy with some mental health professionals?
Yeah, she started in therapy at like age 14. She was misdiagnosed as bipolar.
Okay.
But about age 22, she was diagnosed with the borderline personality disorder. So she's been in and out of therapy. She just started this year, as I said, right before she found out she was pregnant. She did have some Zoom therapy, and she did start on, I think it was Wellbutrin for the anxiety. They wanted to deal with the anxiety before they dealt with the depression, or vice versa. I can't remember now. But anyways, I felt like at that point that seemed to be maybe the time where I noticed that all of a sudden her behaviors were becoming more distant, more strained, more irritable.
Yeah.
But
That's tough.
Just because it's very, it's very emotional.
Yeah.
It's your daughter. I find myself, wanting to help. I do struggle with being envious of the mother-in-law who gets to have the full access of the grandkids and have the full communication with my daughter. But, how do you communicate and be supportive?
Yeah. So, great questions. I think a couple of things. One is people with borderline are very difficult to live with, because they pull you in, they push you away. Emotionally, they're all over the place. And kudos to her mother-in-law, her in-laws who are they're living there, and that's tough. And so I think God bless the mother-in-law who is able to deal with all that. So that's a really good thing. So that's a really positive thing. And it sounds like your daughter is in a pretty wholesome place with some good in-laws, and so all that's really positive. Now, what should you do? And I think it's really tough. The first rule, of course, is unconditional love, and you just have to love her, even though at times she's kind of unlovable, right? And you've got to realize, though, when she pushes you away, keeps you at arm's length, is controlling, is keeping the kids away, it's really not her. It's the disease that is taken over, and that's kind of in charge. It's very encouraging that she's getting help, that perhaps medication could help. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You don't know until you try it. It's good that she's in therapy, which I think is helpful, can be really helpful. And so there's personality disorders are notoriously difficult to heal or to cure. And you can make some progress and you fall back. So it's really a tough thing. And for your daughter, she's really in a kind of an emotional prison. And it's very hard for her as well to live in that world. So you have to love her unconditionally. You have to realize that when she's being difficult to love, it's really not her. It's the disease that's talking. It's the disease that's making decisions. And you've got to love her through that. And you can't take it personal. And as hard as that is, too, because, you birthed her, right? And everything about her is personal. But you got to realize it's the disease that is kind of overtaken her, right? So, yeah, I don't have any magic there other than when you are in a place to be able to talk to her and spend time with her, keep it cheerful, keep it positive, keep affirming her, keep praising her, and just keep loving her unconditionally. And perhaps over time she will open the door a little more. It would be ideally down the road great if when she's in therapy, if you could attend some sessions with her, if she would allow you to do that. Because, if there's anything you can do to be helpful, that would be great. You may want to consider seeing a therapist who specializes in these kinds of things, borderline and other personality disorders, to get some advice from someone who's really trained in borderline on what you can do as a parent in the situation. So wouldn't be a bad idea for you to line up, a couple of sessions to get some advice from someone who's trained specifically in personality disorders.
Okay.
I know that's not all that helpful, and I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I just, my antenna went up when Monica mentioned that diagnosis yesterday, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that sounds like us.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So hang in there. It's a tough thing. It's a chronic illness, same as if she had some physical chronic illness, like Crohn's disease or something like that. And it flares up and it goes away, and it flares up and it goes away, and you just have to love her through all of it. And when she opens the door, you got to walk through it in a very positive and affirming way. And you just got to love her. And you know what? A lot of prayer too, of course. Okay, a lot of prayer, and there's a lot of. I did a show I think a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, where I talked about saints who struggled with mental illness and are now canonized. So it's possible to live a good life, even though you've got to fight through this disorder, which is very destructive. So a lot of prayer too.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right, Tracey. Thanks. Yeah. Boy, that's one of those tough things. You know, Jim, I there's just no magic answers for personality disorders. They're just so debilitating and so difficult to treat. And it's so tough for the parents. So God bless you, Tracey. I'll say a prayer for you and your family on my way home today for sure.
That was the Best of the Week on Relevant Radio. The best way to listen to the Best of the Week is on the Relevant Radio app, free and always free. Download and share the #1 free Catholic app today in the App Store.